any experience has two aspects. It's the individual subject meeting the world object. It's like I give you all the best dishes, but you've got severe indigestion. How is the experience going to be? So what science is for the world, Vedanta is for the individual.
Welcome everyone to another episode of The Overcorrection. Today we are in studio with Siddharthji. He is someone who is a spiritual teacher focusing on Vedanta. Do you feel sometimes people reach spiritual practices as a way of escapism? Maybe they're doing a regular corporate job and it's too much stress for them.
See, if you read the Bhagavad Gita and Arjuna tells Lord Krishna, can you please take the chariot a little ahead? And then he sees his uncle, his cousin, his guru, and he collapses. It's like Virat Kohli saying, World Cup final, he said, buddy, I can't bat, He says, Krishna, my head is spinning, my knees are shaking, let's go to the Himalayas.
It's that, he's that guy, he's like...
Let's go to the Himalayas, Krishna. Out of, like you said, not being able to face the challenge. And Lord Krishna says to him, remember this, happiness equals number of desires fulfilled divided by number of desires entertained. You go into a store, you want to buy a shirt. Buy the shirt. Vedanta is not saying don't buy the shirt. By all means, go buy a nice shirt. But if you're not careful, you'll pick up thoughts for another 5. If you're truly enjoying life, why are you not happy?
Welcome everyone to another episode of The Overcorrection. Today we are in studio with Siddharthji. He is someone who is a spiritual teacher focusing on Vedanta, as you could probably tell by his outfit. But what I wanted to tell you about that before we talk more about Vedanta is his background before that, right? So he is someone who has had, I'd say, a completely westernized education coming from India. He has gone and studied electrical engineering at Cornell University, an Ivy League school. After that, he's worked on Wall Street and lived that typical Western life, played squash, the whitest sport in the world. And then, like the fabled monk who sold his Ferrari, he has, I guess, had to give a lot of those material pleasures up to truly follow this path. Would that somewhat be the case?
Initially, that would be correct. You do have to step back a little bit. But I wouldn't say go as far as saying I had to give them up. But yes, there is a period where you have to step back.
Do you think once you've taken that first step back, eventually in a true spiritual sense, you can enjoy all these material pleasures?
In fact, with spiritual knowledge, only with spiritual knowledge can you enjoy these pleasures.
Can you talk more about that a bit?
Look, when you say you want material pleasures, when you say you want to, why are you doing this? Why is anyone wanting to contact the world? What are you trying to get out of it?
Stimulation of some sort or engagement.
End of the day, bottom line is enjoyment, pleasure, happiness, whatever word you're choosing.
Yes.
But end of the day, it comes down to that, right? So if you analyze a fellow, you ask a fellow who's earning, 5 million, say, hey, how's life? Life is good. But I think 10 million would be the right number. Right?
Yeah.
Now you go speak to a guy who's at 10 million and you ask him, hey, how's life? Oh yeah, it's pretty good. But I think 25 is the right number. You follow? So what we don't realize is we are so focused on the number that we lose the purpose of it.
Was that you on Wall Street at all? Is that where some of this maybe came from?
That was my question too. Is like what prompted the journey that you've been on?
Correct. So, look, you know what it is. You work hard at college, you get a great job, you get onto Wall Street, you live the New York City life. It's good. But look, if you're smart enough or if you apply yourself, you'll investigate. Okay, fine, this is good. Life is, you're doing well. But you investigate, what about the guys who've been here 15, 20 years? How's their life going? So I looked at these guys, the MDs, the directors, etc. And I said, look, they're making tons of money, which they were. They have a penthouse in New York, they have a house in Long Island. You know how it's like.
Yeah.
But to be honest, they weren't very happy. So I said, hang on, I'm going to spend 15, 20 years or more trying to get there. I have to work very hard to get there, which is fine. There's no problem. So you work 15, 20 years and that's where you get. I wanted to see if there was a better way.
In those people that you saw, were there also maybe a rare few who had material pleasure there, but also you perceived them as happy? Did you see an odd instance?
No,
Really?
I didn't find
You didn't
it.
find it.
So I even spoke to, very interestingly, I even spoke to some of my professors. When I interned at Cornell, some of, these eminent scientists, and some of them were physicists, who were working on the smallest particle. So I said, look, you've been here 20, 30 years as an intern. Some of them are very, very easy to approach. Fantastic, I said, look, how far have you gotten? And he said, you know what, we've gotten quite far. But I said, can you answer it? How did this start? Why did this start? He says, oh, no, that's going to take a long time. And he was an old guy.
Yeah.
So I said, look, I'll be here, and I'm curious.
Yeah.
In a way, I was curious. I genuinely was curious. I said, how does it start? Why does it start?
You're talking about the science.
Yeah,
part,
I'm talking about the world,
world,
the electrons. Why did it start? How did it start? Out of curiosity. And I said, 30 years here, he's still searching for answers. So whether you look intellectually or even you look at from a material perspective, you're enjoying life. But if you're truly enjoying life, why are you not happy? These guys were not happy people. They were agitated. I'm not criticizing them. I'm not, putting them down. But I said, look, I want to know, is there a better way one can live life? Can you gain some knowledge which enables you to live a better life? That's it.
I was just going to ask, the word that we've used a few times is happiness. And what I wanted to ask you was maybe a twofold question. One is, broadly, for the benefit of our viewers, what is Vedanta? And two, how is happiness tied with Vedanta, and how are we defining happiness? So when you say that you saw people who are inherently not happy or unhappy, what does that manifestation look like of someone who's not happy? How do you know that you're not happy? I know that's almost like maybe a juvenile question, but at a Vedanta level, how do we answer that question, or how do we come closer to it? So there's like three questions there.
Right. Let's start with the first one.
Yeah.
Vedanta is a Sanskrit term. It's derived from two words. Veda means knowledge, Anta means end. So Vedanta literally means the end of knowledge. Now that has two meanings. First of all, in the Vedas, which are the ancient scriptures, in the end portion of the Vedas, you find what is called the Upanishads. And in the Upanishads contain the philosophy.
Yeah.
So Vedas talk about a lot of different things, right? They could be talking about science, medicine, etc., rituals, etc. But the philosophical portion of the Vedas is the Upanishads.
Okay.
And they come in the end. So Vedanta means the end of the Vedas, referring to the end portion, the Upanishads. That's one meaning. The second meaning of Vedanta is the end of knowledge, which means that it takes one to the highest human experience, the ultimate experience of spiritual enlightenment. Thereafter, you need no other knowledge. That is why it's the end of knowledge. You don't need to seek anything further. That's what Vedanta means. Now, where does happiness comes in? That was your second question,
yes.
right? Happiness, when you say how do you see people and how do you understand their levels of happiness? It's sheer lack of agitation.
Agitation.
Right? When are you happy? Well, if you go back into your own life and see your experiences, what is you say, I was the happiest. When? What? No agitations. What disturbs our happiness is our agitation. So a person who's highly agitated could be different things, but he's far from happiness.
Understood. So that agitation doesn't necessarily have to be one born out of stress. It can be greed or desire or any of these things could
They're
be
different forms.
different forms of agitation.
See, you use the word stress.
Yeah.
What definition of stress?
Yeah.
Agitation. Like, I mean, like, there's
Exactly.
another-
Yeah, it's recursive.
In fact, it's not recursive in a way. See, greed, what is the definition of greed? Okay, what's the definition of desire? Let's start there. So, a desire is a thought flow, right? Because we feel a sense of incompleteness, right? A thought goes from us to some aspect of the world. It could be an object, it could be an entity, it could be a being. A thought goes. If I get, I don't know, a cup of
I want
coffee.
chai,
Right.
something.
Chai. There you go. I get a cup of chai, I'll be happy. It'll complete my incompleteness
Yeah.
for however short of a period. Right? So it's a thought flow from you to the world. That's just a thought, single thought. When you feed that thought, it becomes a flow of thoughts.
Okay.
Right? Suppose
Which is
you
something, a thought like, I need chai every morning before I start my day.
No. So yeah, right. That's just a thought.
Okay, that's just one thought still.
One thought. I want chai is a thought. Correct? Now, I want masala chai. If you understand. Or I want so much milk, so much tea.
I want it at this time.
At this time. Right.
start
You're-
building on your
correct.
desires.
You're feeding that thought. Now that thought has become a flow. That flow of thought is a desire. So every thought is not a desire.
Okay.
You may get a thought, a silly thought, like right now, I want to go play, I don't know,
Yeah.
squash.
Yeah.
You may just get a thought, but you dismiss it.
Okay.
But if you feed that thought, you build that thought becomes a thought flow. That's a desire. If you feed that desire further, right, so we desire for wealth, a person may desire for wealth. If you feed it further and further, it becomes greed. So there's a distinction between the two. It's not synonyms. But if you have a strong desire, and that desire is not being catered to, whatever it could be, because it's not being catered to, you get agitated. That is stress. Stress is nothing but mental agitations created by unfulfilled desire.
Yeah, I think that's the best definition of stress I've ever heard in my
And
life.
happiness is defined negatively. Well, I mean negatively, I mean in the theoretical sense. It's defined as the absence of these stresses or agitations.
Desires.
Or desire. Absence of desire straight up.
When you become happy, you had a desire to have a cup of tea. You said chai, right? And you have a chai. And that agitation comes down.
I'm happy.
That's relatively.
Yeah.
Relatively, yes.
Relatively, I'm happy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Until the next desire pops
Until the
up.
next desire pops up.
Yes.
So the only way to be truly happy without these ebbs and flows of it would be to let go of desire.
That is from an absolute level.
Yes. Okay.
That's not practical.
That's not practical.
That's not practical.
So that's not what Vedanta would preach. Or that's
No.
what attaining nirvana doesn't mean.
That is nirvana.
Okay.
That is moksha, that is nirvana. Zero desires. So what I'm going to explain to you is a beautiful definition of happiness given by Vedanta. We may have to put this in as a slide or whatever,
100%.
right? Remember this, happiness equals number of desires fulfilled, okay, numerator, divided by number of desires entertained. So, when you fulfill your desires, you're becoming happy. That's fine. Vedanta is saying, go ahead. But what Vedanta is saying, look, while you're doing that, why are you increasing the denominator? See, you go into a store, right? You want to buy a shirt,
Yeah.
right? Buy the shirt. Vedanta is not saying don't buy the shirt. You want a shirt, nice shirt, by all means go buy a nice shirt. But when you go and buy a nice shirt, if you're not careful, you'll pick up thoughts for another 5. So you've exhausted one desire, you fulfilled one desire, but you picked up 5. So your happiness is reduced by a factor of 5.
I like that a lot.
So this is what's happening. People don't realize. If you look back, the world, right, 30 years ago, you want to make a call to Delhi, you had to book a trunk call.
Yeah.
It comes in middle of the night sometimes.
Yeah.
Now you can call from one room to another room.
Yeah.
You understand, the world has improved tremendously. You want to watch a movie, you had to go to the theater or you had to get a DVD. Hopefully it was the library had it.
Yeah.
Now you, at a touch of a button, you don't know what to watch.
So in theory, this actually should make it easier to achieve the numerator. But what is happening is that it's actually adding more to the denominator than it is removing from the numerator.
Correct.
So even though all these modern conveniences in theory should afford us the ability to achieve and satisfy desires in an easier way,
Correct.
the net effect of that formula is that the denominator is increasing disproportionately to what we can even feasibly increase the numerator by.
Correct.
So there's only so many things you can do in a day.
Correct.
But there's infinite things you can want in the day.
Right. That's the problem.
Is that sort of...
That is the problem. That is why you see, although the world has advanced so much, comforts have facilities, comforts, amenities, but people are not happier.
Do you feel like part of this, what we call advancement or progress or technological progress, in many ways is because we have adopted a progress definition again as it was defined by the West in some level, and that has led to a level of kind of spiritual erosion or this vacuum being created? So not saying that obviously infant mortality is a metric that we've adopted from the West. I think that should be important anyways, but we've some way got progress wrong because we've just tried to apply it blanket. Is there something in that thought, or are we not viewing progress the right way?
Correct.
Yeah.
See, any experience has two aspects, right? It's the individual subject meeting the world object. So if you want to improve that experience, you got to improve both factors. So the entire focus has been to improve the object world, with no focus on improving the subject individual. It's like I give you all the best dishes, right? Whatever cuisine you, Chinese, Thai, etc., whatever, all the best dishes in front of you, but you've got severe indigestion. How is the experience going to be? So scientists, I'm not saying shouldn't do their job. They can improve the world, but not at the cost of neglecting the individual.
Yeah.
So what science is for the world, Vedanta is for the individual.
Yeah.
Vedanta, what is Vedanta? Vedanta is nothing but a digest of laws pertaining to the individual. So you want to survive in this world, you need to know science. You can't survive without science. But as far as the mental health is concerned, you can't survive without knowledge of life and living. You may want to call it Vedanta, you call it whatever you want, it's irrelevant. But without this knowledge, it's very difficult to survive.
I think maybe that's what, when Rohan and I talk a lot about like the younger generation and how they seem to be more engaged suddenly in understanding faith systems or these knowledge systems. Are you seeing that a lot as well? Like younger people coming in, is the source of their desire to come in, hey, I'm lost and sad and I don't know why, or is it more intellectual curiosity? Like I feel like you've come to this from a point of intellectual curiosity. A lot of people are now engaging with it from a point of, I feel like I'm not okay and I don't know why. And is this where I can find the answer? Like, do you find how people are coming to Vedanta, does it have different inputs or I guess inroads?
Yes. So first of all, just I came to Vedanta from both perspectives.
Okay, yeah, true.
Not just one, just clarify.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just intellectual, there was an emotional component.
Yeah, I told you, I met these guys. I'm saying you work hard for it, you get there. But if you're smart, you see where it's going to take you. People are experiencing that and they understand that there is a limitation. That's what I found when I went to the West. Okay, look, I'm not saying there's no good qualities there. Please don't misunderstand. What I'm saying is, they've done beautiful things, they've done great things.
Absolutely.
There's no doubt about it. But there's stuff missing too.
Yeah.
So you see from a physical level, from a material perspective, look, they've done amazing things. But if you look at it from an emotional perspective, if you look at it from an intellectual perspective or a spiritual perspective, you see there are limitations.
I think that metaphor you gave, I'm going to remember it the rest of my life. You're going to like a Michelin star restaurant, but you have acidity.
Correct.
So it's all pointless.
Correct.
If your internal world is not at peace, there's
Correct.
no amount of external change or addition you can make
Correct.
that will make it better. I love that. I have a question, just a slight shift of this related to the types of people who are coming into Vedantic practice, or maybe people must approach you, like, Guruji, I want to be saved, or something's wrong with me and I want it. Do you feel sometimes people reach spiritual practices as a way of escapism, where they kind of, maybe they're doing a regular corporate job and it's too much stress for them. Maybe they don't want to deal with it. Maybe they don't like having to work 48 weeks of the year and they want, they just want to go, let me, like I have friends who are like, no bro, I want to go to the hills for a month. I want to clear my head and, get in touch with nature. And it sounds all like pseudo-spiritual practice, but it just feels to me like a guy who wants to quit his job and doesn't want to engage in certain challenges that I feel are very important. I think like even part of Vedantic or Hindu tradition, there are those stages of life that you're meant to go through. So do you sometimes feel a red flag when you see like a 19-year-old be like, I just want to be a spiritual person?
I wouldn't say a red flag, but again, depends on what the thoughts are. You're absolutely right. See, if you read the Bhagavad Gita or even the Mahabharata, I mean, tragedies young people today don't really know the details. But anyways, if you read it carefully, what you must understand is, right, the story, I'm sure, are you aware of the story?
I've
read
read,
it,
yeah.
Should I give the story?
Yeah.
Sure, especially
please.
the parts where...
Okay, fine. So just to sort of summarize, it's a very long story. It's the largest known epic in history, 100,000 verses. But to summarize the story, you have the two families, the two royal families, the Pandavas and the Kauravas. And the Pandavas are the heirs to the kingdom. But Duryodhana brings the Pandavas for the game of dice and he cheats and he gets the kingdom. And the story is they have to go in exile for 13 years. And at the end of the exile, they come back and he's supposed to give back the kingdom. So they go. These are good fellows, They sign the dotted line, they do what they said they'll do. And they come back after 13 years, fulfill all the conditions and comes to Duryodhana and he says, look, can you give back our kingdom? And Krishna is a negotiator. Duryodhana says, no. And Krishna says, okay, give them 5 districts. 5 brothers, 5 districts. Says, no. Okay, give them 5 towns. No. 5-bedroom house. That's my addition. It's not there. The point is, they're willing to negotiate, And our friend says, no. He says, if they ask for that much space to bury themselves, I will not give. Then these fellows decide to fight.
This is not your addition.
No.
Then that's a dark line for you to add.
So then they decide to fight the war. Not only for themselves, they saw that the whole kingdom had come under the spell of unrighteousness. Unrighteousness was going on. This is, at least for the sake of the people, we have to fight this war. And they requested Lord Krishna. Arjuna, the commander-in-chief, requested Lord Krishna to be his charioteer. So everything was set, the 2 armies were lined up, right? Battle was about to begin. And Arjuna tells Lord Krishna, can you please take the chariot a little ahead? Because I want to survey the opposing side before I start the war. I'm commander-in-chief. What's my battle strategy? And then he sees his uncle his cousins, his guru. You understand? And he collapses. Mighty warrior collapses. You must understand the backdrop.
Yeah.
Mighty.
It's like Virat Kohli saying World Cup final, he said, buddy, I can't bat, You understand?
Yeah.
He's a mighty warrior. He's a Maharatha. It means a mighty warrior. And he collapses. He says, Krishna, my head is spinning, my knees are shaking. I can't do this. Krishna, let's go to the Himalayas. He's
that guy.
He
He's like,
says, let's go to the Himalayas,
go.
Krishna. He's telling Krishna, why are you asking me to fight this battle? He's saying that. Are you understanding?
he quit. He wants to quit his
He
corporate
wants
job.
to quit. He wants to quit.
He wants to quit and he wants to
Out
go.
of, like you said, not being able to face the challenge. And Lord Krishna says to him, that's the Bhagavad Gita.
That's the Bhagavad Gita.
Hang on, buddy. You are a Kshatriya. Your duty is to fight. And you're fighting for a righteous cause. You better sit here and fight. You follow?
Yeah.
Look at this. Look at the tragedy here. The Gita is given to a warrior on the battlefield to enable him to fight a war. And if you ask any of your contemporaries, why don't you learn the Gita? Oh, I'll learn after 65. When you've lost all the battles, then you want to learn how to fight. See, the tragedy here is it's conceived as something you do post-retirement. It's not conceived to be something you do before you get into life. It's knowledge of life.
Its utility is far more the earlier you get it.
You need to be equipped with the knowledge of life before you embark on life. Not after you've made all mess of it.
True. But Siddharthji, my question was, do you think that some of this is coming? Where did we assume that these were not important, or I'll come to it later? Is it a product of, again, the way just we progressed? Is it a product of maybe a certain colonial mentality that has still lingered? I know that's something we're going to come to, but is there a part of that in this? Why don't we engage with it younger?
See, as long as we had this knowledge, we were on top.
Yeah.
If you go back to Indian history, we were a very prosperous country, nation.
25% of the world's GDP before the British reached.
Yeah, and wealthiest country in the world, region.
It's not only material wealth.
Not only material wealth.
Yeah.
Like I said, if you read the Upanishads, it's the highest philosophy known to mankind.
I think earlier also we were discussing Maslow's pyramid, and I heard you like almost wince, being like, it's not Maslow's originally. But yeah, I mean, like we all know, like you said, you know the pyramid, the triangle or pyramid of human needs, and we were like, oh yeah, Maslow's pyramid. You're like, listen, it's a few thousand years older than that.
Yeah.
Correct.
So I think this is a symptom what we just showed you of.
So what happened though, like any civilization, if you see any civilization, there is a peak and there is a decline.
Yeah.
So when the decline happened, why does the decline happen? This applies to any civilization, is the intellect declines. The reasoning, the thinking declines.
Why would it decline?
Why would it decline? It's a sense of complacency. Right? When you get to a very high level of any sort of skill, right? If you're not careful, there is a tendency to become complacent.
And like that's humility in it, because however it accepts that even people who have achieved such great knowledge can fall from it.
If you're not careful, yes.
So there's no it's not like I've achieved it and I'm forever immortal or
No, if
impervious to these.
If you cross, if you get moksha, then you don't come back.
You don't come back. And one sign that you didn't actually have moksha would be is if you ever came back.
Correct.
Then it wasn't
Correct.
moksha.
Correct. So coming back to that point, there's a decline, right? Since there's a decline of intellect, of thinking, certain practices were misunderstood or misapplied. For example, the caste system.
Right.
If you read the Gita, not one place, multiple places, Lord Krishna explains the caste system is based on mental temperament. It is not a birthright. And there is no such thing that you cannot change because the mind changes.
Yeah.
So
That's not even between generations. That's one person in his one life can change.
correct.
Yes.
Correct, you can, because the mind changes. So since since it's based on mental temperament, and the mind can change, you can. So what happened is, since they misinterpreted it as a birthright,
Yeah.
it caused a big problem in society.
Do you know if this misinterpretation was, say, internal to, say, I guess what you would say, the Brahmin community or the Vedic teachers or whoever they were? Or because a lot of people also blame it, I'm sure it's a bit of both, blame it on the British.
And the way they
Actually,
engaged with it.
they introduced the idea of, say, census in India. So there was a time when, even if I'm a Brahmin, there was never a time when I'm like checking a box saying I'm a Brahmin. Until the British came and they actually handed out pieces of paper to everyone saying, hey, check what box you are. Do you think that is also maybe just putting the blame elsewhere? And is it possible this codification came from within the Vedantic community as well?
See, look, when you have a problem, others will take advantage of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they codified it because they saw it.
could see the
Obviously,
fissures.
There were
there is a
fissures.
problem.
There was a problem.
Society in decline because lack of intellect. So it's misunderstood.
Misunderstood. So you do see it as an internal problem, not something that was...
You can see there's no point trying to externalize our problem.
Okay.
But what they did do is they blew it up, right?
Yeah.
And as a result of that, the Indians became ashamed of their own culture.
Yeah.
So there are certain negative practices that had crept in, but they blew it up and they made the whole culture seem inferior.
Yeah.
And since no intellect was being applied to really compare, they just took it up. See, how do you think they ruled us for 200 years? Because we have a complex. All you fellows have a complex. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Why are you wearing what you're wearing?
Yeah.
I'm not against it. But try and understand. If you wear what I'm wearing, your friends will stay away from you. We have a complex.
I wonder how many days I would have to dress like that till people stop giving me looks.
But that's what I'm trying to explain.
Yeah,
So it's on paper we are independent. We are not really independent. We're still suffering from a complex.
Yeah.
Because we are still dependent on what they are thinking about us.
Even at, say now at your level, and I know there's not like levels to this, but in my nomenclature, I would say someone who has studied spirituality, are you still affected by these complexes on any level?
Then I wouldn't be wearing what I am. I wouldn't be wearing...
You can honestly say that you don't have those complexes.
See, when you have an understanding of life in general, from all aspects, right? It's like in a family, husband, just for argument's sake, let's assume the husband is earning. It could be the other way around.
Sure.
For a second, let's just assume husband is earning and the wife is taking care of the home. If you analyze it correctly, you understand what the husband is doing, what value he is bringing to the table, and you understand the wife's value at the table. You follow? So there's no inferiority complex, there's no superiority complex. Because each person brings a different talent to the table. So when you understand the value of your own culture, it's not that you get a superiority complex, but you're not suffering from inferiority complex.
Correct.
Because you understand what value you are bringing to the table. So what is our value? That is the problem. Nobody knows. See, there's no point about me talking about the greatness of our culture. It's just talk, as far as you're concerned. But unless you investigate it, you know for yourself, you analyze, you understand what value this culture brings to the table, to humanity, then how can you have a complex?
Yeah. And I would argue, even like you're saying, one is the knowledge and spirituality part, but even I think in the parts that the West claimed to be part of theirs, which was, say, science, medicine, surgery, even on those, I felt like we'd made, or maths being the biggest one, right? By far. We had made so much advancement on math, only to then never be credited with any of the discoveries. So, but yeah, I think that's because of the complex again.
Correct. So there's an inherent complex.
Yeah. Maybe one question, slightly shifting gears,
Yeah,
unless
yeah,
you had
please,
one. I was just going to ask, since you had mentioned like stages of life, which Rohan had mentioned, one thing I would love to get your thoughts on is how have you seen, because I know that you engage with a lot of people, especially a lot of younger people that are keen to learn about Vedanta and that realm of knowledge. I see a lot in my generation, this challenge with marriage, settling down, finding a partner, finding a spouse, balancing the romantic element of life with settling down. And so that whole world of that stage of life. Does Vedanta have any answers for us there? And I think Rohan is not in this, given that he did it right. But say for people like me who are still, let's say, people say, "Yeah, shadi kyun nahi hua abhi tak?" Right? So can I go to Vedanta for answers for that also?
My guru, Swami Parthasarathy, has written a book. It's called The Fall of the Human Intellect. I think it's the 3rd chapter. It's given 6 reasons for marriage. 6 reasons why anyone should get married.
Okay.
You have to analyze again. Are you designed for marriage? So the first reason is progeny.
Correct.
Obviously. You want to have children. Mahindra and Mahindra.
Yeah.
You may have to cut that out.
Yeah. Easy.
Get in trouble, these fellows.
Yeah.
Johnson and Johnson, right? It's progeny. You want your name to continue.
Yeah.
I'm not commenting it's a right, wrong, whatever. This is a reason.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Probably you can even just say that's an evolutionary thing. It's probably baked into us.
It's an animal instinct.
Animal instinct.
It is an animal
animal
instinct.
instinct.
It
It's
is an
not.
animal.
You don't even have to reach there intellectually. You can reach there.
Yeah, it's an animal
Animal
instinct. Progeny. Second is emotional companionship. You're not so self-sufficient to live by yourself. You need companionship. Again, it's not right or wrong. Each person is a different stage of evolution. You may say, look, I need companionship. For that purpose, I want to get married. Third reason is the urge to procreate.
Correct.
It's a natural human urge. But again, different people, it's different in strength. There's a whole category. There's completely passive, impotent, who don't have the urge.
Correct. Yeah.
For that reason, they shouldn't get married. Right? Then there is passive to active categories, depending on how strong the urge is.
Yeah.
And then there's extremely powerful. If the urge is extremely powerful, it's not satisfied with one person. You need multiple partners.
Correct.
In that case also, marriage is not recommended. For obvious reasons.
Yeah.
These are Vedantic prescriptions.
This is there in the book.
Like, hey man, if you wanna, mess around a lot and you feel like one woman or one man is not going to be enough for you, don't get married. Just have a ball.
Yeah, no, it's not about having a ball. See, it's you got to understand its appetite. You can't say it's wrong to have an appetite of X or Y.
Fair.
Right?
Yeah, who are you to say, or
each
anyone?
person has a different appetite.
Yeah.
It's actually for self-analysis, not to analyze other people.
Got it.
You follow? So if you're not in the first and last categories, marriage is required for that purpose.
Okay.
Fourth reason is possessiveness.
Okay. That sounds negative.
Again, it's person to person. You have a powerful desire, you say, for a house, my house. I want to have my own house. I want to have my own family. You get it? It's a desire of possessiveness. You're very possessive. You need something to call your own.
Is that not similar to progeny? Are they related or they are distinct?
Progeny could be, may not, in a way it's connected,
Like
you're right.
progeny is like sort of that Genghis Khan style of progeny, right? Like just impregnate 10,000 women and alter the...
Look, I don't know about that. The point is you want the particular family name to continue.
Okay.
Here is your own personal desire for possession.
possess
Having
something, yeah.
having someone to call your own.
Different, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
You get it?
Yeah, I get
This
it. One is like biological.
Correct.
For the future generations, possessiveness is like, hey, I want this person as my wife.
Correct,
Which is
correct.
different from companionship and progeny.
Exactly.
Okay.
The fifth reason is security. Not so applicable in the modern context.
Sure. Yeah.
You can get security otherwise, but in the olden days, it was quite helpful. Sixth is protection. Protection and security are different. I'll explain why. Security is from outsiders. Protection is from inside. Insiders means your friends won't come to you at 50 and say, how about we get married, in that sense.
Okay.
So you don't keep getting propositions as you go along. In that sense. But it's not really a reason per se.
Yeah.
But it combined with the others, it could be
Okay.
for not getting married.
Wow.
So these are the 6 reasons. So the point is, I've told you this is laws and laws of life. Now you have to sit and analyze whether these reasons are applicable to you. One or more. If they're applicable to you, you should get married.
Nowadays, if you see like what I hear the dating market is like, it's, I guess, not focused on any of these 6 facets actively. Is that what you're kind of getting at? Why there might be a dating
But you can't
crisis?
also put, I can't put, I'm looking for progeny, like you have to.
No, I mean like...
No. The point is, what people don't understand is, marriage is give and take.
Right.
See, the more selfish a society becomes, the more difficult it is to accommodate others. That's the problem. It's not that they don't want companionship.
Right.
It's not that they don't want these things, but they don't want to give up or they don't want to accommodate other people's requirements.
You know, it's quite interesting that you said that, because I completely agree. I think people in general are more focused on themselves, whether that's a reason why they don't get married, or amongst my married friends, even you'll hear a lot of people who say don't want to have children in today's day and age, perfectly within their rights. And their reason is usually, I think my life should be about something else and not, I don't want to personally give up so much time to raising children. I would rather focus on my career. Like you said, who are we to judge people's particular appetites? But a funny story came out of Japan, which I kind of want to tell you about, which sort of talks about the selfishness. So part of this selfishness has led to the rise of AI girlfriends. Okay, we've all heard about this. Now, it's not reached India yet. I mean, who knows? But in Japan, it's very common for people to have AI girlfriends. And basically, it's an AI chatbot who gives you the emotional companionship of, say, talking to a girl who will be your girlfriend and express affection to you. And it seems like the ultimate solution for these selfish people. They get to have a chatbot with no actual needs and feelings of their own, and you get your needs fulfilled. But you know what started happening? People stopped liking their AI girlfriend. Like, man, these girlfriends don't seem... Something's not right about this. And the developers of these girlfriends start trying to figure the problem out. And you know what they did? They basically made these girlfriends fight with their real boyfriends. So what would happen is that an AI girlfriend would get mad at you and then not talk to you for the next 36 hours. No matter what prompt you typed in, hey, I know you're a boy, not going to talk to you. And you know what happened? These guys are like, now I feel like I have a real girlfriend. So what was funny is that even what started as like, hey, you're a completely selfish guy and you want just your girlfriend set up to you, even that selfishness needed an actual human's needs to feel real. So somehow that selfishness and even seem trying to accommodate selfishness perfectly. Even if those selfish people found a girl, a real girl who is willing to just be a slave to them, for example, would feel that no, this girl needs to act a bit more real, needs to have her own volition, needs to have her own desire, then it will feel real. What do you think of this whole phenomenon? Does it sort of, what does it say to our selfish generation?
See, this actually, it's. I would say it's a different thing. Any sense contact, any contact actually, not just sense contact. The more you contact something, the less you enjoy it.
Okay.
Okay, this law of diminishing marginal utility.
Yeah.
So, I mean, go back your own life when you first had a glass of alcohol, right? The first time, what a kick. But what happened? And the next time you went back, you didn't get that. You had to increase the dosage to get that same kick. So, the more you contact anything in life, the less you enjoy it.
And also to extend that, you can't increase past the point, so then you have to withhold.
Correct.
Just
That's the point.
So it's actually just getting your tolerance back under check. So
Correct. So you want to enjoy anything in life, you have to learn to moderate your contact. See, if I force you, it's frustration. But if you force yourself, it's not frustration. It's moderation.
delayed gratification, all these things.
Same concept. But that applies even to relationships. There's a saying in English, familiarity breeds contempt. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. So you have to be able to moderate your contact. That's what people don't understand.
Next time I don't answer my wife's calls, I'm going to play this clip of you saying this stuff.
That's on you. Don't put it on me. Fellows have a knack of getting me into trouble. No, but it's true. If you analyze, almost everything in life is like that.
Yeah.
Amazing. Fascinating. So I did have this one question to you. Just to move into a more hard philosophy, hard science, guess some people might call it. It's the question of free will. And to summarize it, a lot of religious discourse, a lot of philosophical discourse deals with the problem of free will. And what a lot of commentators end up reaching the conclusion to is that if you don't believe in a God that has endowed you with free will, it is very hard to remove yourself from a materialistic, atom-driven perspective for every single thing that happens in this world, including your thoughts, decisions, and actions. So while you think you're watching this video because you chose this video, there was actually a process of atomic reactions that led to certain thoughts firing, that led to you clicking on this video, and it wasn't actually free will. Now, while we all may behave as though we have free will, is a separate question, but from a materialistic universe, you don't actually get there. Where you get there is from God saying, hey, you have a soul, which is immaterial, and this soul is what makes decisions. I would love to believe that, but I don't know. Do we have evidence? Firstly, is this formulation of free will in sync with Vedanta, against Vedanta? To start, and what do you think?
See, what Vedanta says is the universe is functioning on causation. Law of cause and effect. You sow a mango seed, you get a mango tree. You sow a coconut seed, you get a coconut tree. It can never happen that you sow a mango seed and you get a coconut tree.
Okay.
It's cause and effect, cause and effect. Causation.
Causation.
So this applies in all aspects of life. This is karma, theory of karma.
Yes.
Right? The causes produce the effect. You may not have access to the causes. You may not remember the causes. But everything in life functions on cause and effect. There is no third party. There is no third party determining what is going to happen to you and what's going to happen to me. What you experience in your life is the cumulative effects of your causes. What I experience in my life is a cumulative effect of my causes. Period.
When you say third party, do you mean God?
Yeah, God, the stars, whatever you want to say, the lines on your what is it?
Palm.
Palm.
Yeah.
No third party. Nothing determines. Cause and effect, cause and effect, cause. When people don't know the causes, right, they're experiencing a particular effect, since they don't know the causes, they bring in a third party.
Or free will?
Free will is a separate concept.
Separate concept. Oh, okay, fine. When they don't know the causes, they bring in a third party, like an act of God.
Correct.
Okay.
You don't know the cause. You say you don't, in that questionable sort of situation, you bring in a third party. Just
Okay.
because you don't know the cause.
Okay.
So either you say the universe is not functioning on cause and effect, right? Or it's functioning on cause and effect.
Yes.
But you can't have it, no, wherever it's convenient to me, it's working on cause and effect. As far as my bank balance is concerned, it's perfect cause and effect. Everything else, or God
but
comes
why
in.
I got diagnosed with some illness, that is an act of God.
Correct. Then you want to shift the blame somewhere else.
Is this a materialistic point of view out of the two that I spelled out?
Materialistic why?
Where it's sort of just atoms and neurons firing being the ultimate causes.
See, why do those atoms and neurons fire? Go one step back. See, every action that you perform is backed by a thought. Right? You choose to do something. Like you said, I like to have a cup of tea. The thought comes first. Then it translates into action. It's not that the action translates to your thought. You must understand the chronology of action. Thought leads to desire, desire leads to action. So the world is an expression, whatever world you are experiencing is an expression of your thoughts. A businessman sees a business world. A sportsman sees a sports world. You take a businessman to the Himalayas, he'll start thinking how to start a Himalayan tea store. You follow? He's seeing that world.
Where do people's thoughts come from?
Past
Life. Like that's
actions.
past action.
So it's a cycle. Seed produces tree. Where did the seed come from? Previous tree. Tree produces seed, seed produces tree. It's a cycle. So your past thoughts and actions create your present thoughts and actions.
And just following this chain of events, does this all go back to the Big Bang? Like in a Western scientific perspective?
Big Bang, they have shifted the
Yeah, they have.
problem. They have not answered the problem. But how did the Big Bang come about?
So there's this interesting quote where it says, religious people have to believe in all sorts of miracles. Scientists have to believe in only one miracle. Which is that, say the Big Bang happened, that's the miracle you believe in, then everything will follow. But we're still asking you to believe in that miracle.
Correct.
So
it starts from an assumption.
But that's still, I'm happy with an answer saying we don't know. But is that what Vedantic texts say in terms of we don't know what happened before the Big Bang or before the creation of the universe? Or what is
Correct.
the perspective on the origin?
Vedanta says you cannot answer that question.
Okay. It's fundamentally unanswerable.
You cannot answer that question. See, for example, when you are experiencing a dream, while you're in the dream, you can never know why the dream started, when it started. The moment you wake up, you know exactly why the dream started, you know when it started, when it ended. Likewise, what Vedanta is saying, we have to wake up to the fourth state of consciousness. Once you wake up to the fourth state of consciousness, you will know exactly why it started, when it started, etc. But you cannot answer that question in this third state of consciousness.
There's actually a base philosophy in Kant. So I studied some philosophy, and one of his philosophy is that you can't fathom your world outside, say, concepts like space and time.
Correct.
So when people say what happened before the Big Bang,
Correct.
if the Big Bang is the moment when time was created as a concept, questions like what happened before the creation of time is a oxymoronic question.
Correct.
There's no...
Because the entity of time didn't
the
exist.
entity of time didn't exist. And just because we are programmed in a way that I cannot think of a thing that is not in space,
Correct.
and I cannot think of something that is not in time,
Correct.
I'm trying to figure out what happened before time,
Correct.
which
Which is
it's like fundamentally unanswerable, I
Correct.
guess. So this fourth state is moksha.
correct.
Turiya. Oh,
Turiya, fourth state, same
Turiya,
thing.
same thing,
Moksha,
right? Turiya.
Nirvana is all synonyms.
I have to ask, do you have moksha?
No, I don't.
And if you had moksha, would you be like just sitting on a hill somewhere meditating, never speak to anyone else again?
See, again, what the scriptures explain is that there's two thoughts actually. There's one thought called Jivan Mukti, and other one is called Videha Mukti. So there's two schools of thought.
Okay.
One school of thought says that realization, enlightenment can only happen at physical death. Other school of thought, Jivan Mukta, says realization, enlightenment can happen while a person is alive. So then how do you explain how a person functions after realization? So the way they explain it is, suppose you're driving on a highway at 80 kilometers an hour, right? And you turn off the ignition. Do you stop? Right? Suppose you're driving at 40. Do you stop? But the guy who stopped at 80 is going to go much further than the guy who stopped at 40. So there is what is called original velocity. That takes time to exhaust. So that's why you see different masters, the so-called enlightened souls. They have different expressions. One master kept quiet, one master sang, one master gave lectures. Why difference? If they're all
that's what I'm wondering.
from one state of consciousness, why different expressions? Because their original acquired velocity is different.
And you can, in theory, attain moksha at any velocity.
Turn off the ignition.
Turn on the ignition.
No further generation.
You have met people who have, say, self-proclaimed attained moksha, or you have noticed they've attained moksha. How does this become, like, how can someone know if someone has moksha?
If everyone is sleeping, right, and you wake up, correct, and then I wake up, then you know you're awake, I know you're awake, but the rest of them don't know. If I'm sleeping, I will not know whether you're awake.
So it's like just impossible for
Correct.
me
You
to
need a realized soul to recognize another realized soul.
realize soul.
But at the same time, when you meet highly evolved human beings, you can't know for sure. That is correct. But with their attitude in life, you can generally make an educated guess. But it's still a guess. It's an educated guess. By the level of detachment.
I think there are people I know in my personal life, like I have tremendous regard for Puru. I've sometimes, and a lot of other friends of mine who I've just noticed they have sometimes a sense of peace that I don't have. So even though they are not like practicing, I notice some level of something about them is at peace.
Correct.
Is it a similar type of feeling?
Correct. But it's far more developed.
Yeah, developed.
The greatest of sorrows are not felt. Felt means they're not affected by it.
Yeah.
The greatest of enjoyments are not affected.
And I was just thinking about, Siddharthji, what you were even saying about origin, well, he was asking about the origin, and we say that there's no answer. If I remember correct, and please correct me on this, but even in the Upanishads, or is it the Mandukya Upanishads, where they say that we ourselves do not know from where the universe came, right?
So again, you from the third state, you cannot know.
Correct.
It's like a dreamer trying to understand how the dream started, period. You have a dream sun, dream moon, dream universe. It has no meaning. The dreamer will never understand how it started. It is the waker who understands how it started.
Wow.
What they say is you cannot know it in the sense it's not an intellectual comprehension.
Yeah.
See, it's not that the dreamer's intellect is comprehended. A brilliant dreamer's intellect can comprehend. No. You have to transcend the dream.
Yeah.
So you
To
can't
realize.
know that.
Correct.
You become that.
Got it. Wow.
So causation continues.
Yes.
Right? The world is built on causation. Universe is functioning on cause and effect. But what the scriptures are saying is every one of us has full control of our thoughts, our causes. But at any given time, you are the combination of all your past causes. But hereafter, you have full free will. See, at any given point of time, you have a choice of action.
Is that choice not an illusion based on some material thinkings? Like, I believe I have a choice to have a sip of this right now or not.
Right.
Apparently, it's already decided that I'm going to do this.
No such thing.
No such thing.
No such thing. Then you don't have choice.
Yeah.
Then you don't have free
I don't
will.
have choice.
No. What the scriptures are saying, you have free will. You have complete free will. But when you actually choose, when it translates into actual action, it is a combination of that particular choice plus your past.
And that choice now becomes a future cause for my next thing.
Correct. See, what your bank balance is today, right, is a sum total of all your past choices, debits and credits. That's fixed.
That's fixed.
But what your bank balance will be hereafter, 5 years from now, is what it is today, plus the debits and credits you put in hereafter.
Which is a choice.
Right. Which you have full freedom to do.
And the scriptures say this.
Yes.
They say that
Yes.
you have this freedom.
Yes,
Despite
that
us.
is the law of karma.
That is the law of karma.
That is the law of karma.
That's why karma is even meaningful to talk about. Otherwise, if it was just an indefinite thing of cause and effect and it's all predetermined, as they say,
There is no such
such
thing
thing
as
as predetermination. So predetermination is not a belief
No,
in the Vedas.
no. You are the architect of your fortune. You are the architect of your misfortune. You make yourself, you mar yourself. Period. Whether you like it or not.
Wow.
Got it.
I think that puts as a perfect segue to what I was going to ask you, because then that means as individuals we have a tremendous burden of responsibility. And why I'm asking that is, in the program I'm doing right now, we did this great class on ethics, albeit from the Western lens of how they view ethical frameworks and things like that. And essentially the course was called Doing Business for Good was the idea. Or what does that mean for individuals? Like, say tomorrow I enter the workforce and I work for maybe a company that would be considered maligned by a few, right? Say you work for big tech, or you work for AI, or you work for defense or oil, or any of these things, right? How or what does Vedanta tell us as far as the Western word of moral compass and doing the right thing ethically? How can I instead look at it from a dharmic standpoint on what is doing the right thing as far as work goes?
See, when you use the word dharma, I'm assuming here,
Yeah.
right, that you mean those actions that will help you evolve.
Yes.
Correct?
Correct.
So, what is evolution? What is dharma? What is the definition of evolution? See, we say spiritual enlightenment, but that's the very end. That's the goal.
That's Vedanta.
Yeah, correct. Anta.
Anta.
But the point is, when you say dharma, dharma is those actions that take you towards that goal,
Yeah.
that help you evolve, make you a better human being. And if you distill it down in very simple language, it's unselfishness. When you are working for an unselfish cause. See, a person could work just for himself. Correct? You couldn't be bothered. There are some people who don't bother about their families.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Extremely selfish. Then there are people who are better off. They are working for the sake of the family. They will sacrifice their own requirements for the sake of the family. Relatively unselfish
Yeah.
compared to the first
Yeah.
person. Then there are people who will go beyond the family. They'll work for the community. Then there are people who will work for the nation. There are people who work for humanity.
Yeah.
The highest stage is when you cross that. All living beings. When you are interested in the welfare of all living beings. So, when you talk about dharma in work, there's two things. First thing is, every one of us should find what is called a Svadharma. Svadharma, Sanskrit term, Swa means one's own, Dharma means nature. So, every one of us has a particular inclination. It could be medicine, it could be philosophy, it could be music, whatever. Each one has a particular inclination. You could have one or two, it's not necessarily one, but you won't have 15.
Yeah.
What you're inherently inclined towards. See, if you go to a doctor's office, nowadays everybody picks up their phones. But imagine 20 years ago, when there were no phones, and there's different magazines, there's a sports magazine, there's a business magazine, there's an interiors magazine. What will you pick up? There's no axe to grind. You're not thinking, what will I get out of it? Just pure interest.
Just pure interest.
What drives you? What interests you? So, the suggestion is find your Svadharma, whatever that field is. But in that field of activity, the more you can think about others, how to serve others, not at the cost of yourself, but where is the emphasis? See, a doctor is treating a patient, right? Patient walks into the door, he thinks, how much money can I squeeze out of this guy? Or he could think, how can I serve this fellow? He's using the same knowledge, but what is his focus?
Correct.
So when you say doing good, what is the intention? Everything is on intention. What is the intention? Are you trying to help people? You may say, look, I want to design an amazing phone that people find very useful in life, or a gadget, etc., with the intention that to improve their lives.
Yeah.
That is dharma. That's exactly what I said. Our friend Arjuna wanted to run away. Said, I'm gone, you're a Kshatriya. You are designed to fight. That's your inclination, that's your Svadharma. So you better do it, and you're doing it for a higher cause.
Yeah.
That is dharma. That's the definition of dharma. It's making you evolve. Through action, you're evolving. So it's not the field, it is your intention. What are you trying to do? Is it just working for yourself, or are you trying to benefit a larger cause? So the action is irrelevant. That's why I keep going back to the Gita, because Krishna is asking Arjuna to kill. What is the intention? So everything is based on intention.
That's actually the part about karma that scares me the most, because you have karma on your thoughts. I was like, okay, I can control my actions. Chalo, I've grown up, I can control my words. I can't control my thoughts. Like, that's how I can't even imagine this concept of...
See, anyone can get a negative thought. Okay? A negative thought can come.
Yeah.
But that's not karma.
That's not...
Karma is when you identify with that thought.
Okay.
I'll explain it. Suppose you get a thought, look, I want to get back at that guy. You know, very impulsively it comes. And then you say, you know, why am I encouraging these thoughts? Where is it going to take me? How is it really going to help me? So you're not identifying with that thought.
This is all explicitly written?
Yeah, in a way.
In a way?
Yes, yes.
Awesome.
So and it works the other way. So please be careful. You have a negative thought, but the environment, for whatever reason, is not allowing you to manifest it. You still have to pay karma. So both ways it works.
Can work against you.
Yes.
Wow,
Likewise, positive. You want to share, you want to help, but you don't have the capacity to.
That's good
You still
karma.
get good karma.
Versus you have the capacity to, but you
Don't want to.
don't
do it.
want to.
Yeah. Or you're doing it for the wrong
reasons.
Yes.
Intent.
You
as
don't
keep
get.
saying.
Philip Morris ESG. Like we were joking about how like sometimes, I think you mentioned, right? The largest tobacco producing companies have the best environmental safety scores,
ESG scores.
ESG scores of all the... Man, I think that's super interesting. I think we covered a lot of
Yeah,
topics.
that was
There was one
amazing.
story we wanted to get into because we probably don't know it, and you guys probably don't know it, even though this is one of our most preeminent gods. You can speak the story of Ganesha, and you were going to tell us.
Right.
Especially in time for Ganesh Chaturthi,
Ganesh
I think
Chaturthi
it'd be
coming
great
up,
for
yeah.
people to know.
So, like, I don't know if I mentioned earlier, but almost all the rituals have a deep philosophical significance. You know, even this idea of multiple gods. So you may say, why have so many? You know, everywhere you look, there's a god in India. Why make it so confusing? So what the masters were trying to educate us is the purpose of human life is to get to that fourth state of enlightenment. But everybody was too preoccupied. A fellow is doing business, he's so preoccupied in business. Fellow is playing sports, he's completely preoccupied with sport. Now to tell a person who's fully involved in business, hang on, the purpose of life is different, what are you doing? They said, look, this is impractical exercise. It's okay, fine. Your mind is going towards business. Let's plant a god there. Goddess Lakshmi. So while you're doing business, at some point this thought will come in as a reminder that look, there's something beyond business. So you're interested in knowledge, Saraswati.
It's almost like a marketing campaign.
Exactly. So if the masters had to do it today, this exercise, they'll have a god for Facebook, they'll have a god for Instagram. Because that's where your thoughts are going. So while you're in an Instagram, while you're on whatever, Twitter, whatever else you guys do, one part of your concentration will be on something else. So it's not multiple gods as such. It's just multiple idols chosen to remind you of the supreme ideal. So now we come to Lord Ganesha. If you see, there's a story, I don't know if you're aware of the story. In the Puranas, there's a story that Lord Shiva's son, Parvati's son,
Yes.
was guarding her. She was having a bath and he was guarding the door, And Lord Shiva came and he said, sorry buddy, no entry, my mother has said nobody is allowed to enter. And the story is Lord Shiva cut off his head. And the closest head they could find was an elephant's head. It's just a story. But the choice has deep philosophical significance.
Okay.
So what does it symbolize? Right? First of all, any evolution, any growth, any learning starts with what?
A choice? No.
Yeah, a choice.
A choice.
Choice to do what?
To act.
To listen.
To listen.
Any growth, any evolution, you must be available to listen. You don't know something, you want to learn
Sure.
something.
You need new input.
You need the input.
For that, you need to
How to symbolize a person who's willing to learn? Largest ears in the animal kingdom. Person who's always willing to learn, to improve. Such a person who's always willing to learn has tremendous wisdom. Largest head in the animal kingdom. It's again symbolic. And from that wisdom comes the trunk. Now what's so special about elephant's trunk? Do you know? Biology, I'm not asking philosophy. So elephant trunk has two amazing qualities. One is it's so strong it can uproot a tree. And the other is it's so subtle it can find a needle in a haystack.
Yeah, you can carry something without breaking it also.
Right.
Yeah.
So it has this quality. So it represents a person of wisdom, has a powerful gross intellect to deal with the world, and a powerful subtle intellect to deal with these topics.
Wow, beautiful.
Spiritual knowledge. Such a person, if you see again, one of the tusks, Lord Ganesha is broken.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
If you show to a foreigner, he'll think manufacturing defect. So get me one without trust. So what? Again, it's all symbolic. What does it symbolize? So the world comprises pairs of opposites: hot and cold, joy and sorrow, honor and dishonor. This is the world. Short and tall, pairs of opposites. The world is nothing but pairs of opposites. But a person of wisdom is not affected by the pairs of opposites. He's transcended the pairs of opposites. That is indicated by one of the tusks being broken.
Wow.
Then he's got a big stomach, not from overeating. Big stomach, symbolic. Such a person can stomach any challenge. And there's a rat. There's a lot of sweets and dishes put in front, indicating that such a person has no want for anything in life. But there's a rat asking for permission to eat. Again, symbolic. What does it symbolize? The rat symbolizes desire. Why does the rat symbolize desire? Because a rat is an animal which steals food and buries it and forgets about it.
Oh.
Desire. It's greed, in a way, greed. So, what they symbolize is the person of wisdom has his desires under perfect control. It's not that he doesn't have desires, but they are under perfect control. So, when you pray to Lord Ganesha, you're supposed to bring all these thoughts. Right now, it's become, if I pray to you, you'll give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things. That's not the purpose. That is not prayer. That is PREY, praying.
Okay.
It's beggary. That's not
begging.
prayer.
That's begging.
That's begging.
I have a question about this story.
Yeah.
So, I just want to ask about the part before the decapitation. Is that relevant? Like, was he not doing the right thing by not allowing
Look,
Shiva?
these are
Is this-
stories given to establish why the elephant's head is put.
Okay.
You're emphasizing on the wrong syllable.
Got it. I was just wondering. So
Yeah.
it's not relevant. It's not that, he did the wrong thing, so this happened to him, so he
No,
grew into
that's
that.
not the
is
point.
not the point at all.
See, if at all there is a teaching there, it's teaching the importance of following one's conviction in life,
Okay.
even at the cost of losing one's life.
Okay.
That's what it's teaching.
And him getting a boon from that of getting to become Ganesha.
Correct.
So he was in the right.
Right. If at
If
all,
at all,
that's a
vested in it.
stretch.
That's a stretch.
But if you really want to go that
Okay.
way, it's emphasizing.
But it's not the focus point,
Yeah.
of course.
That means Satyam. Life of Satyam means you are true to your conviction and your conscience,
To death.
even if it means that.
Wow. I think that's a great note to end it on as
Amazing.
well. Thank you so much, Siddharthji,
Yeah,
for coming
thank
here.
you.
Is there any message you want to maybe give our audience? Anyone in the world? Just put it out there.
See, look, all I would like to say is if you are looking to find meaning in life, if you are looking to understand what it means to live a full life, a fulfilling life, you need to acquaint yourself with the knowledge of life. See, you can't understand the natural world, right, without acquainting yourself with the laws of science. It's as simple as that. So, if you want to have a good life, a fulfilling life, you need to acquaint yourself with the laws of life. And these laws are not restricted to a particular creed or a particular nation. Just because certain scientific laws were discovered in England, they're not restricted to English people.
Yeah.
Everybody
beautiful
can
way to put
benefit from them. Vedanta is not restricted to the Vedas. Vedanta you'll find in Shakespeare, you'll find in Milton, you'll find in Wordsworth. But unless you acquaint yourself with these laws, it's very difficult to have a peaceful life, to be successful. People do become successful, but that's not a problem. The problem or the trick is to be successful and peaceful. And unless you acquaint yourself with this knowledge, very difficult. You may not call it Vedanta, you call it whatever you want. Whether you call it science or you call it something else, science will not change. It's the approach to scientific, but it's knowledge of your individuality and your relationship with the world. And if you don't get that, it's tough.
It's tough. Okay, guys.
It's amazing.
Well, that's amazing. Thank you again. Thank
you
you
so
so
much.
much.
Welcome.
Thank you for all you guys who helped organize this. And guys, please, I really enjoyed this episode. It's going to be a bit of a longer one, but I think you'll be as hooked as I was throughout this recording. If you have any questions about this, please leave them in the comments. Send us DMs. We'll get them to Siddharthji, and maybe we can get some answers to any questions we have from this podcast.
Yeah.
We will, in the description to this video, have links to the website and any other, books or material you want to point out.
Right.
And at the end, this was a lot of fun, man. I think we talked about
I think we covered everything I
everything.
wanted.
Yeah.
Some lessons for all of us
Oh my
to
God, yeah.
take into life. And as always, like, share, and subscribe. I think that helps us keep doing this, and we can get more content like this out to all of you in the OC community.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Thank
That's
you.
for
so
everyone.
much.
I'm Rohan Pranjpe. This is Purajit. Thank you,
And thank you,
Siddharthji.
Siddharthji.
This is The Overcorrection. Thank you for watching.